Welcome to Unbound, and I'm James, and I'm changing the direction of this show. And this show is about one thing: freedom for. Not freedom from, and not freedom for a weekend, not freedom until the next crisis hits and the old patterns come rushing back. Freedom as a daily, sustained, honestly, unremarkable way of being alive. And it starts with a truth that is going to contradict almost everything that the self-improvement industry and other, freedom coaches ever told you. You do not need a new identity. We'll say that again. You do not need a new identity. You do not need to reinvent yourself. You don't need a rebrand. You don't need to become a better version of you. You don't need to find yourself, because you were never lost. What happened is something far more specific and, honestly, a lot easier to fix than being lost. You were buried. You were buried under masks. Not cosplay or Halloween masks. The masks of identity. Categories of false identities. And you stepped into those for safety and for acceptance, for survival. And you've been wearing these things so long that you mistook the mask in the mirror as your actual face. But here's what nobody in the personal growth space wants to tell you, because it would truly collapse their entire business model. The person underneath the masks, the real one, your true identity, your resonant identity, has been there the entire time. Not broken. It's not damaged beyond repair. There's no need to put it all together. It's not sliding or drifting. It's just buried. It's buried under the layers of adaptive selves that kept you alive in rooms that could not hold the weight of you. This is the core premise of everything we do. And this is why I use Unbound as a single descriptive of myself. I need you to hear it clearly, because it changes everything about how you approach your relationships, your life, your career, faith, health, and your mindset. You do not need to build a new identity. You need to uncover the one that you already have. The self-improvement industry operates on a foundational assumption, and that's you're not enough as you are. With the right tools, with the right habits and mindsets and strategies, you can become enough. Now think about that for a second. The starting point of the entire thing is that you are insufficient, that something is wrong with you, that who you are right now is sort of this rough draft, but eventually, with enough effort, it could become a final version. We bought it. We bought it as a society. We spent years, some of us decades, trying to build ourselves into something acceptable, impressive, lovable, something that would finally earn the right to stop striving. But the finish line continues to move. You hit the goal and there's a new goal. Promotion? All right, now you need the next one. How many books do you want to read? Behind this screen are thousands of books. There are 3 more for every one you put down. The treadmill never stops because it was never designed to stop. It was designed to keep you running. And the reason you run, or the reason it keeps you running, is because it starts from the wrong foundation. You're broken and you need building. Being unbound starts from a completely different place. We start from the premise that you are whole. You just need to get uncovered. What I'm describing has a name. It is my theory that I call Resonant Identity Theory. And here's what it says in plain language. You have a true innate resonant identity. Not a constructed one, not a narrative, performative, but a resonant identity. And your true frequency, the true frequency of your being, it is the person you are underneath every mask that you've ever worn. It existed before the first moment of heat, the first pain, rejection, the first pot of chaos, forced you into a costume. This identity was not built by your experiences. It was not assembled from your choices. It is not the sum total of your personality traits, you are not an amalgamation of all these other accomplishments or relationships. It is the bedrock underneath all of that. It is the thing that has been constant through every season of your life, even the ones that felt like they destroyed you. And you felt it. You don't even have language for it, right? But you felt it. The moments where something inside you said, this is not me. I'm trying to be what I'm not. The job that looked right on paper, but it was sort of wrong. Didn't fit. That relationship where you were loved but not really known. The version of yourself that everyone applauded, but you could not stand. See, that voice, the one that said, this is not me, that is your resonant identity speaking. And it's been speaking your entire life. The problem is not that it is silent. The problem is that the masks have become louder. So what are these masks? I hate to name them all, but I have to. Let me name them. Because I believe naming it is how we start transforming. And what does that look like? Naming is how we stop things from running in the dark. A mask is not a behavior. It's not a quirk. It's not a personality trait. It is simply a category of false identities. And you stepped into these things for safety, and you became an adaptive self. That's what the mask is, an adaptive self that you created in a moment, in an experience, in a pain, a chaotic environment, a threat. But that mask became a permanent costume because your nervous system recorded it as the way to stay safe. Now, there are 8 of them that I've sort of categorized. And I'm willing to bet that before I finish this list, you'll recognize at least 2 or 3 of them running your life right now. How about this? The relationships mask. The relationship mask says, I am who you need me to be. That's the self that earns belonging by disappearing. Then the religion mask. That says, I'm the good one. I'm the pious one. I'm the one that performs purity, so I never get ostracized or punished. The resume mask. That says, I am what I achieve. The self that turned output into oxygen. The recreation mask. I'm fine. The self that uses pleasure to mute every signal that asks for a hard move. The rules mask. I was good with this one. I'm the compliant one. The self that follows rules that nobody asked you to follow because structure was the only thing between you and abandonment or chaos. The responsibilities masks or mask. I am the dependable one. The self that carries everything and calls exhaustion purpose. The reasons mask. I'm the logical one. The self that explains emotions instead of having them. The roles mask. I am the persona that gets applause. The self that lives inside a title and does not know who it is without one. 8 masks. 8 false identity categories. 8 survival strategies that were brilliant when you were 7 and are running your life at 47. And underneath these are hundreds, if not thousands, of subcategories. Underneath every one of them lies what I call an emotional contract. I'll be the one who blank, so I never have to feel blank again. You signed that contract before you could read. You signed it in a moment of heat, under duress, with a nervous system doing its best to keep you safe and alive. And nobody ever came back to you and told you the fire was out and the contract was optional. So how do we get from buried to free? We walk a path to freedom. And in the frameworks that I came to uncover through 3.5 years of journaling and therapy, and then realizing that it was all up to me, this path to freedom has 4 basic stages or phases. Discovery. where we name the masks, we see the loops, we identify the contracts, because we cannot take off what we cannot see. Alignment, where we start choosing truth over survival in real decisions, not in theory, in our actual calendar, our conversations, and our relationships. Refinement, where we rewrite the contracts. We hand back the weight that was never ours, and we integrate head, heart, and role into a single, coherent, congruent identity. And then amplification, where the resonant identity becomes the default, not the exception, not the act, not the let me think about this and see, where you as a person radiates into every domain of your life. And you're not performing it, it's real. See, that is the journey. It starts with one thing: seeing. Clarity in the fog. Not fixing, not healing, not optimizing. Seeing the mask, seeing the contract, seeing the loop, and through the seeing, finding the person who was there before the first mask was ever built or worn. Now, I want to be straight. This is not a show for people who want to feel inspired. Inspiration is cheap. It lasts about as long as the dopamine hit from the reel that delivered it. This is a conversation for people who are tired. Sick and tired of sick and tired. Tired of performing, tired of constructing, tired of waking up every single morning and putting on a version of themselves that impresses everyone except the person wearing it. If you're that person, if something in you right now is saying, "Are you talking about me?" then you're in the right place. Not because I have all the answers. I'm not a guru sitting here. I'm a man walking the path. And every single day, 1,053 of them to be exact, I live free of anxiety. I live free of false pretense. I live free of worrying about a decision because I know the right question, not because I have all the answers. And the right question is not, who should I become? The right question is, who have I always been? What does this look like on the other side? It's really where I want to spend most of my time. I mean, picture waking up in the morning and the first thing you feel is not the weight of which mask you should wear today. Not the inventory. Which version for the office, for the spouse, for the church, for social media. You just wake up and you're present. You're you. And the same person that woke up is the same person that enters every room throughout the entire day, because there's only one person to be. Picture walking into one of those rooms, not scanning that room for what it needs you to be, not adjusting your energy, not dousing down your fire, not carefully checking your language or your posture, just showing up as you are, and that being enough. Not because anyone or everyone approves, but because approval stopped being the currency you trade in. Picture your relationship where you're fully known, fully received, fully met. Not the curated version or the highlight reel or the strong one. And the person across from you is not in love with your mask. They're in love with the person who showed up when the mask came off. Picture sitting in silence and not needing to feel it, not with noise, not with productivity or a scroll through your phone. Just sitting with yourself and finding that the company is good because the person sitting there is real. This is an unbound life, and it is available to anyone willing to do one thing: stop building on top of who you are and start uncovering who you have always been. Listen. What if let's just go here. What if you heard what I said today? And what if it hit something real in you? Something you've been carrying but could not name. This is not a pitch, it's just an invitation. Let's talk. A conversation. Because freedom does not start with a program, it starts with being seen. Want to talk? DM me. And let's set you free. I'm James, and I am unbound, and I am free for life. Let's go.